Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy. In the last part, we did stuff I can't quite recall at the moment because it's been about half a week since we last did one of these. And now we're heading to the Cardian Islands north of Cornelia.
The ice cavern thingy.
Yes, that's it, thank you. Anyway, the Cardian Islands are famous for being home to a very particular species. What that species is should be obvious in about...
Cardians?
I forget when the first... in the later translations, these were known as an entirely different name. I'll refrain from naming the exact name that they had, but they're essentially the Dragon Islands. Dragons inhabit these places. Not as random encounters, though, as NPCs.
Grand Dragon, I hate you.
Oh, the Grand Dragons are amazing for grinding.
Well, I don't... And the reason that I go for HP, I try to have the highest strength possible whenever I try and grind. And that doesn't really happen until Disc 4, so I wait to do my grinding until then with Grand Dragons.
Ah, yeah. Now, the thing is, each of the holes does lead to a sub-layer in their thing, because all the holes connect to the same place. However, you want to go into this specific hole here for this very long tunnel. Because at the end of it is the King of the Dragons, who is going to give us a bit of a side quest.
Is it Bahamut by chance?
Yes, it's Bahamut.
Course.
This is the first appearance of our good old summon, even though he won't become a summon until summons were a thing in FF3. And his quest is quite a famous one. You might actually recognize the reference that they're going to make, that later gets reference here. He is Bahamut, King of Dragons. Bring me proof of your courage to receive the honor due true warriors. And where do we go to do that? Well, we need to head to the Castle of Ordeals, which is a northeastern place.
Oh my god. Final Fantasy IV reference this?
Yep, Mount Ordeals. And they'd also later reference what the Proof of Courage is. You might know what it is just from that alone, Kenny.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a very necessary upgrade because this is how we get our class upgrades. So if you want to make your classes all even better and allow them to get more magics for the mages and such, do this. Obviously, there are enemies on these islands, but I'm going into all the holes because there's still treasure I need to get. Either way, it leads to our first new encounter of the part. This is Catman, known as Weretiger in later translations, 160 HP, and they regenerate a small amount of HP every turn. I think it's a random amount, but it's fairly small and insignificant.
Haha, Echo missed, but that's not very... I've noticed how uncommon missing is in newer Final Fantasy games, with the exception of 10. And 12, really. Actually, to be honest, the only one where I noticed that missing is almost never a thing is 8 and 9.
Yeah, I do actually recall, for the most part, Squall aside, missing quite a bit in 9, or 8.
And there's dragons.
Yeah, here they are.
Are they nice,
NPC.
happy dragons?
Yes, they don't attack you if you talk to them. They just share some random exposition, I think, on the town or something. I forget. There's not many of them. I think there's like a total of maybe 8 or 9 NPCs throughout the entire, 6 islands.
That's interesting because that's what happened in 5 when they referenced the dwarves in the fire tablet place.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I think Bahamut may have become an optional boss in one of the later versions, but I don't quite recall. In fact, you know what? I'm gonna Google that. Let me see. Bahamut. That's not how you spell Bahamut, Kyle. It's Bahamut. I wouldn't be surprised if they did make him an optional boss in FF1.
That for the end of the side quest, possibly.
No, I would recall for a fact. No, they did not. He's just there. Though he does get his classical sprite overchanged to look a bit more like his design in 5 and 6. And 7, I suppose, as well, because they went with that classic large winged dragon.
Oh my goodness.
Thinking about it, though, I can see why they didn't do it, but I wonder why they didn't add new classes to later versions. Even if it was just like an extra summoner class. Because they did that with Final Fantasy V Advance.
Why did you open up the menu there?
I forget. I think it was to check either my levels or my gold.
Well, you did get a
but-
crap ton of gold there, so I wouldn't be surprised if it was to check out your gold amount.
Yeah. Oh, and I should mention, my equipment's a bit different, because in the last part, I do recall putting my equipment changing into the thing on my notes here. Zero has the fire shield, the silver helmet, gauntlet, and armor, I think. No, they aren't armor, I think. And the fire sword. Zero has the buckler, gloves, silver armlet, and gloves. And the ice sword. Yang has nothing. Aiko has the silver armlet and the silver hammer.
Okay, either way,
Anyway.
next enemy we have is a shark. 120 hit points. They resist fire and quake, and they, like most water enemies, are weak to bolt.
And you might be wondering why I went down in one shot. That's because sharks are supposed to be early game enemies. A lot of the water areas are one domain, so you'll be running into very weak enemies throughout the entire thing in the ocean.
Why did you go from the airship to the ship? If you can just...
Because you can't get to the Castle Ordeals on your airship. You can do this little trick to get there a lot more easily, but you can't get there without the ship. Anyway, here we are, and Castle of Ordeals is quite the mini dungeon. Though it has a town theme for some reason. Anyway, we need the crown required to test our courage here. That's why we got that crown a few parts back. I think we mentioned that. Yeah, we should have.
Yeah, I thought we did.
And we need to step on the throne, and we're teleported to the main part of the dungeon. Which is a classic teleporter dungeon a la Sabrina's Gym in Pokemon Red, Blue, Yellow.
Ugh, gross.
However, when it comes to branches, there is a trick you can do. If you ever come to a choice of an upper or a lower one, choose the lowest. For some reason, that gets you through it. I don't know why, but it does.
Always choose the lowest. Odd.
Yeah.
What happens if you choose the highest?
Often it'll teleport you to a previous part of the room.
Oh.
I don't think there's one that teleports you backwards. And there's a chest here with a required encounter point against mud golems, known as clay golems in later translations. 176 HP, resist poison, death, firebolt, and ice, and they can cast the haste spell. Well, fast here, but haste in later translations.
It doesn't seem like they'd had golems very often in other Final Fantasy games.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. They don't really use them that often, aside from maybe
12.
3? Yeah, 12, and I remember them being in 9 because of the sand golems in Clara.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Zeus gauntlets are really useful, actually. What they do is that when you use them in battle, they cast a lightning spell. I forget if it's lightning 2 or lightning 3, but it's a very good attack method, and it doesn't break. Items that break upon use wasn't introduced until 5. And with that, we're on the top floor.
That was
Not a
quick.
very long dungeon. Yeah, it's not a very long dungeon. The enemies are the reason it's hard. Anyway, we got nightmares, the next new enemy. Their names are actually spelled correctly in the later translations. 200 HP, their snort attack can blind you, and I'll let you handle the resists and weaknesses, because I want to take a look at something in my notes really quick.
Okay, so they resist Bane, Fire, Quake, Rub, Sleep, and Stun, and are weak to Ice. For some reason, you spelled Quake as Quail, which made me kind of laugh a little bit because of Quail.
Oh, did
9. Yes.
My bad. Anyway, we got the heal staff there, which we want to give to Aiko. It's a weapon. I forget if it's one like it was in 5, or if you use it on a partner, it'll heal them, or if you have to use it as an item. I think what happens is if you use it as an item, it'll cast the heal spell.
Another Ice Sword. Yay.
Yeah, wait, is that the ice sword? Or did I spoil something earlier? I think I may have. Wrong thing here, Kyle. Oh, wait, no, the gold bracelet. That's, gonna be sold. No, I want that on 0, that's right. I think I may have been looking ahead, actually, in my parts a bit. My bad.
Because I saw that 0 already had an Ice Sword on.
Oh, yeah, we already have an ice sword. Now we have one for Zell.
Oh.
My bad. I apologize if I get like that sometimes, viewers. You have to remember that this is footage I recorded maybe over a year ago. So, yeah. Either way, next new enemy is Mancat. Originality! Known as Rakshasa in later translations, 110 HP, resists statuses, fire, ice, and bolt. and I'll let you handle the spells.
Are they in a pattern by chance, or is that just their
I'm not
list?
sure if it's a pattern or if it's just their spell list.
Well, their spells include Fire Ra or Fire 2, Slow, Dark, Sleep, Fire, Lightning, and Cure.
So obviously don't let them live too long because they can start healing other people, or other cats. But honestly, nothing too bad.
Is there a
Fairly
reflex
vanilla.
skill in this game by chance?
I don't, there's Protect. I think the closest thing there is something that lowers the damage you take from magic attacks, and I think that only works in later versions. I don't think Reflect as a spell as it was introduced until maybe 4 or 3.
What does it mean by lost intelligence?
I don't know. I know these guys can use poison, I think it was, or was that the Catman? I think that was the Catman, actually. I think it just lowers... Oh, no, it lowers their stats. Intelligence is a stat that affects your black magic, or maybe your magic in general in this game. I forget, was this before or after Spirit? Huh. I forget.
Yay, another
And
shared chest.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that one is either way. And here we get our proof of courage. The tail, known as a rat's tail in later versions.
So that's where that all originates.
Yeah, that's where 4 got it. And here we got the boss of the area, zombie dragons, known as dragon zombies in later translations. I'll let him handle the stats and such, but I want to tell you for a fact that you can run into up to 4 of these, so be careful.
268 HP, resist fire, resist ice, earth, and status. Sorry. They are weak to fire and holy, and their attacks can paralyze.
They're not very hard. In fact, later in the game, these guys become one of the best ways to grind because you can constantly just step on and off the space to fight them over and over again. But especially if you're lower level than I am, these guys can be dangerous, especially if you run into a group of 3 or 4. So be careful. But if you run into 1 or 2 and your levels are decent, you probably won't have that big of a problem. And with that, we're done with the Castle of Ordeals, so let's head back to Bahamut, shall we? I forget if I cut back or not. Past Kyle, what are you going to do? And past Kyle... Doesn't cut. Okay, looks like we're traveling. Well, mind you, it's not that long of a trip. Oh, well, now I cut. That was random. Man, my editing was strange back then, I guess. Huh.
I feel like maybe you've learned from past experience, maybe.
Yeah, probably.
I forgot, were you recording this about the time we met?
I forget, honestly. I might have to take a look at the last modified dates for one of them. And you know what? I'm going to do that right now. Camtasia Studio. Because this is like the one series I have saved on my normal hard drive.
Man, you have no idea how excited I'm going to be for when we start to go deeply into the series.
Actually, it was just, I think it was either just before or just after, because according to this, the final part was recorded on the 25th of this month, a year ago.
25th of this month.
Yeah, it'll be a year, 2 days from now.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. This is almost around the time we met. Either way, we give him the rat tail, and he's going to give us the honor due true warriors, and thus upgrade our classes and sprites. As for what happened, the warrior...
Oh my god!
Yeah, they became adults, and I love the proportioning. The fighter becomes a knight, who gets upgrades in attack, and can now use low-leveled white magic. Red, white, and black mages become red, white, and black wizards, who can use higher-leveled magics and have higher-level magic stats. The black belt becomes a master who has higher damage and absorb. The ninja, the thief becomes a ninja who is faster and can use some exclusive weapons. And that's pretty much it. This is a good way to upgrade your stats though, because I think even speedrunners go out of their way to do this due to the stat upgrades. Mind you, a lot of speedrunners tend to use the Bane sword, which, due to the fact that they know how to time it and all, can instant kill anything that's not immune to it.
Timing?
Final Fantasy 1's RNG is really weird. It can all depend on the frame you do stuff on. If you do things one frame, load a state, and then do it the next, it can have an entirely different outcome. And in instant death swords, that is the best way to use TASes. Either way, with that, we're gonna need to end this off here.
End this off here.
Thank you guys for watching, and in part 10, we'll be heading over to a place. I can't quite recall.
I don't.
My
Well,
notes.
personally, I don't know where we're going. The only place I know that we're going is part 11, cause Kraken. Yay.
Yeah. See you guys then.